Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the precipice of an event so spectacular, so humongous, so monumental that it might change the fabric of professional wrestling as we know it. I am, of course, talking about AEW Dynasty. What? What did you think? What? Did you think I was going to say WrestleMania? No. Like, Mania's coming up? What? No. Wait, where? When? A week? It sure doesn't feel like it. But, that's for a different video at a different time. But, of course, I'm Daniel Strong. This is Quick Time Reactions, and welcome to my AEW Dynasty predictions. I'm going to be talking about a majority of the stuff that's going to be on the show. There are a couple matches that are added after tonight's collision. Sorry, not sorry that I didn't cover them in the predictions, but I will cover them in the review. But enough chatting, because we have a lot of matches to get through. So let's rock and roll, shall we? As of right now, there's only one 0-hour match, which is Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. And I'm going to say Windsor wins it. Don't know why, just Windsor. Windsor will win it. Let us move on to the main card. Let's keep with the Death Riders. Jon Moxley putting up his Continental Championship against Willospreay. Of course, Will went out of action because the Death Riders put a hurting on him after last year's Forbidden Door. And now he's back seeking revenge against not only the Death Riders, but Jon Moxley as well. I think this is going to be a really good match. Because, especially Mox has been putting in really good matches defending the Continental Championship. And of course, Will is Will. So, that's going to be a no-brainer right there. The difficult part is who I think will win, because I'm thinking that they're probably going to end up putting Will in the AEW title match for All In this year. If Will hopefully doesn't get injured at any point from now until All In, I think he'll probably be the person to challenge for the AEW title at Wembley. But at the same time, I don't think they want to take this Continental Championship off of Mox quite yet. So this is a tough one here. I'm going to say Mox retains, and the only reason I say that is because after what happened last night on Dynamite, we might get United Empire versus Death Riders. We might get that a little bit more in AEW. So we could get, Callum Newman to come over to AEW more frequently. But that's just me spitballing ideas. But yeah, I'm thinking Moxley's probably going to retain his Continental Championship in this match. Next up, we have Andrade versus Darbyallin. If Darby wins this, he will get an AEW World Title match at some point in the future. This one's going to be a really good one, I feel like. Andrade had a really good match last pay-per-view with... Oh my gosh, why am I blanking here? Who did Andrade have a match with at Revolution? Bandito. Yeah, that's it. He had a really good match with Bandito at Revolution. And I think that's going to be no exception here, especially since Darby is an absolute madman and is going to put his body out on the line in this matchup. This is also... It's not as tough, but there's two different avenues that you can take with this. One, Darby gets effed over and doesn't get a world title shot. Or he wins and gets a title shot, and he is the person to challenge MJF at Double or Nothing. That is a route that you can take. I just don't know. It says I don't know if you would want to do MJF and Darby. I mean, you could. You could call back to... I think they had a feud. I think it was either 22 or 23. They had a match, I think. So you could theoretically rerun the match. You could. But I don't know. There's just something about like Darby chasing. It's the same thing with like all baby faces, right? The chase is always better than, the run afterwards. That always seems to be the case. But I'm thinking Darby's probably going to win it. And like I said, he'll probably be the person to challenge MJF for the championship at Double or Nothing. Spoiler as to who I have winning the world title match later on. Next up, we have the in-ring return of Chris Jericho to AEW as he takes on Ricochet. Now, this, I think, is a pretty easy no-brainer. Jericho's back after being gone from the company for close to, if not over, a year. First match back. It's going to be in Canada. I think this is going to be a pretty easy layup. Chris Jericho's going to win it. I think it'll be a solid match between the two of them, as long as Jericho doesn't try anything special, trying something with razzle dazzle. If he just sticks to what he's done the past 30 years, which is the moves that he's done over and over and over again. Line Salt, Walls of Jericho, more recently Judas Effect. Just play the greatest hits, and I think you'll be fine. But in the end, though, I'm thinking Jericho's gonna win this match. Let us actually no. Before we get into all of the title matches that are happening, I already spoke on one. there's one more non-title match that I would like to discuss, and that is the Young Bucks taking on the Don Callis families, Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita. This ought to be a very interesting matchup because there's still some tension between Takeshita and Okada. And I believe Don Callis said on Dynamite, if you guys work together, Takeshita, you will get a shot at MJF, or I think he said MJF, MJF's title. He could have also said Okada's international title. I can't necessarily remember, but he's going to get a title shot, whoever title shot that is in the future. But I could also see this, as the point that Takeshita fully turns babyface and just goes and feuds with Okada. That could be the jumping off point here. And you can have their first big match at Double or Nothing. So again, there's many different avenues that you could go down with this. As to who I think is going to win it, man, I am going to say the Don Callis family gets it. And the only reason I say that is because I'm thinking that they may do a best of both worlds situation here, where Okada will win the match for his team, but Takeshita will still be mad at him and still do the face turn afterwards, which will then springboard into the Takeshita Okada feud. That could be an avenue that they run down. But that's why I'm thinking the Don Callis family will win this match. Alright, let us now get into more of the title matches that are going to be happening on this show. First up, Kyle Fletcher is out with injury, so he has to vacate the TNT Championship. So there's going to be a casino gauntlet match to determine a new TNT champion. This past Dynamite, Ciampa won the right to be at number 1 in this gauntlet match. And on Collision, I think they'll have a match to determine who's going to be number 2. So this ought to be very interesting. Literally anybody could win it, but I'm going to go with Ciampa because I want him to have a good title reign with this championship. I want him to have a good reign with this championship. His first reign was short, and it excuse me, shocked a lot of people when he won it, but then he lost it immediately. So I really want him to have like a good title run with this championship. So that's why I say Ciampa will win back the TNT Championship. Moving on to the tag titles, we have FTR versus Cage and Cope. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. It'll be the first time that Christian and Cope have been in a wrestling ring together since, at least to my knowledge, like as competitors. Like they've helped each other out. They've ran in on each other during matches and stuff like that. But I think this is the first time that they're going to be in a match together since, I think the 2021 Rumble. No, wait. Did they team up? They team up at All Out last year? I think they might have teamed up at All Out last year. Nonetheless, it is a classic tag team reunited against, in my opinion, one of the best tag teams in the business, period, with FTR. This, again, has a lot of build-up to it. FTR turned on Cope, put him out of action, put Cope's wife out with the spike pile driver, and, you know, Christian was also betrayed by his faction as well. I think also got jumped by FTR as well. But then Cope came out to make the save and told Cage to go find himself. And it seems like he has. And now both of them are back to go against FTR for those tag titles. Again, there are two ways that you could go about this. One, give the Canadian boys the big pop, winning the championships in Canada. Or two, you draw this out and maybe do the title change at probably Double or Nothing. But there could be a situation where you drag that out to All In Wembley. You could do that. This one's also a tough one as well. A lot of tough matches to call on this. Because this kind of like sets... Because I'm thinking ahead to Double or Nothing. And how that can be like a big show. It is one of AEW's big shows, Double or Nothing. So I'm trying to like think about ways we can get to Double or Nothing. I'm going to go with FTR retaining because I think the moment of Cope and Cage winning those tag belts should come, not to say anything wrong with Dynasty, because, you know, I went to the first one that had Ospreay and Danielson on it, like, and where Swerve won the world title. So, like, Dynasty is a big show, but it's not one of AEW's, like, bigger shows, like Double or Nothing, All In, All Out, Full Gear, I would say, is up there as well. Forbidden Door as well. It's not one of like those shows where it's like, you know, massive big time moments have happened. So I'm thinking they will save that tag title win for that bigger show. Hence why I give the match to FTR. Moving on to the women's title match. Thekla versus Jamiehayter. Again, this one's also a tough one. Not as tough as I think some of the others are. But Thekla, I feel like she's had barely anything to do as champ. So you could end up taking the championship off her and giving it to Hayter, and you have Hayter hold it until All In, where you can do Tony Storm's going to be out for the rest of the year. I was going to say Hayter versus Storm. Storm's going to be out for the rest of the year, so, put the kibosh on that. Or you can have Hayter chase it until All In, and you have Hayter win the belt back at All In Wembley. And I'm thinking that's probably the road that they're going to go down. I'm thinking Thekla is going to retain her championship, and Hayter will probably just end up chasing it until All In Wembley, where she'll probably end up winning it. That would be my bet on it. So yeah, Thekla to retain the women's title. Which then leads us to the main event of the evening. MJF putting up his AEW World title against Kenny Omega. This match is going to be an absolute barn burner from both guys. But I'm thinking this one's going to be another easy layup for me on this one. As much as I would love Kenny to win back his championship, win back the championship, I am thinking that it is most likely going to be MJF retaining. Whether it will most likely be under some shenanigans, but he could very well clean pin Kenny Omega. That could happen. I'm not saying that it can't. It could. Because I'm thinking most likely the road that we're going to is Ospreay MJF. Run it back in Wembley for the world title and have Will win the championship there. That seems like the direction that we're going to be going in. It's just a matter of how we get there. That is something that is a bit foggy in my head. But nonetheless, I think MJF is going to walk out of Dynasty still AEW World's Champion. And there you have it. Those are all of the matches and my predictions for AEW Dynasty for this upcoming weekend. So yeah, expect a review for that show probably the Monday after the show, because, these AEW pay-per-views, they tend to go a little long, so just be prepared for that review for that show to be out on the Monday after it happens. But until then, guys, be safe out there, and I'll catch you guys next time.